Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Noisy Sauce here with another live stream of a beat make. If you haven't seen me do this before, I'm starting off with a completely blank template, and we're going to be finishing off this stream with a completely finished, ready to go, ready to rap on beat done. This is all getting streamed by my boy Tiny Vessels, aka Travis, over here.
Yo, what's going on?
And he's going to be giving us some commentary as we go. If you have any questions, ask him. He'll ask me. I'll answer it. Or, you can answer stuff too if they've got questions about the live stream.
I'll hit you up.
Or music in general. Or just what you like. What does Travis like? Who is Trav? All right. Should probably get into the beat. All right. So I'm going to start this. I've got no real ideas of what I'm going to do with this beat at all, except how I'm going to start it. A lot of people ask, well, I've heard a lot around people saying that inspiration for the start of making a piece of music, whether it be a beat, a song, whatever, that's the hardest thing to do. And so I've got a bunch of techniques that I like to use when that hits me, when I'm lacking inspiration, all that kind of stuff, that helps me to come up with any musical ideas that will end up being a beat. So one that I'm going to use, which I use quite a bit, is taking a popular melody or chord progression or whatever, and changing it up and using it in my own little way. And the one that I'm going to use for today is Mad World by, who's it by? Gary Jules, I think. Anyway, oh no, I deleted a piano. Whoops. I'm just going to quickly bring up a piano sound real quick. Where are we at? Algeria. Piano. This is it. Yeah, so if you know this song. Just a pretty basic melody there. And the one I'm not going to worry about the chords, but that pretty simple melody, nice melody, fairly standard, but I'm just going to cut that up and try and use that in making my own beat and changing, something original. So where are we at? Let's slow that down a bit. Where are we at? Yeah. All right, let's do that. That's it. Stupid. Let's do that again. Oh my God. That's the one. All right. I mean, it's pretty simple, it's pretty basic, but we are going to take that and turn it into something awesome. Not a big fan of the piano sound that we've got for this one. I want something a bit trappier, a bit more epic, so I'm going to drag it down into my synths section and find something that works really well with this sound. I do want something percussive though, so I'm just going to go into my mixer and we're going to play around with different synths until we find something that works really well. Another cool thing to do, which this isn't a tutorial on this, but you should also play around with the synths that you've got and see what sounds you can pull that you wouldn't normally play with Oh no, what is that buzz? Is that this synth? Holy crap, that is a noisy ass synth. Why?
Oh yeah,
Why is it so noisy?
that's crazy. Is there like an analog setting on it or something?
It's got an amp thing. Okay. Actually, not a big fan of that because it's too noisy. So I'm just gonna change that up for something else. Let's try this Selena. What's this? Cool, but not for this. Oh wait, let's have a play around with sounds. What do you got here for me? Nah. Try a different one. That one I might use for chords though. Synclavier. What do you got? So you can see a lot of these. That's cool. There we go. That's it. Okay. That's good. Alright. Cool sound, needs to be messed with a bit. I'm going to do what I do to all my things, and I'm going to throw a filter on it. Rip out all of that high end because this is trap. We don't need high end. And a little bit of saturation to kind of give it a bit more character. So I'm going to use Decapitator. Just that's cool. And finally, some reverb. Filth.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. Now we've got a completely original sounding thing. It's stolen the same melody as that track, but slowed it way down. And I mean, if I want to go even further away from the original, I can change the key. I like that. So change the key. Now we're in. It could be A sharp major, but I would be thinking this will be in G minor. So from here, I'm going to start adding chords into the background. So I'm going to find that synth that we had before. What was it called? I think it was Farfisa. Oh, no, not this one. This one was shit. That was the noisy one. Why is it so damn loud? All right. I'm going to use this guy, Selena. And we're going to make chords around those melodies. So I've got first chord, I'm going to be guessing. Sorry, it's now. Yes. So I'm going to pick G minor as the first chord. And I'm just going to build these rather than playing them in. that was hard. So what I'm going to do here is instead of playing these in, I'm just going to move the notes around to find what works best. So the first chord had these notes, the next one had these two, and so a good chord that's got those two, I think, would be B major. I'm going to move the notes around to B flat major to make a B flat major. Third one, this one we call to do a F major. F major could work. Let's see what we got here. Works. And the final one is this one, which E minor. Could work well. Cool. And now we've got a chord progression. Now these two sounds are kind of fighting with each other, so I'm going to change this lead to something, sorry, not the lead, the chords, something a little bit more ambient than what we've got right now. Let's have a look at what we got. Ambi horns. Down an octave. Cool. Dig in where that's at. I think the distortion on that clavinet might be a bit too hectic, so I'm just going to bring that down a little bit. Alright, let's get on to drums. We'll do bass and stuff later, but I got a drum idea in my head. those first two. Not a very good drummer, but you know, we do what we can. I mean, I like the rhythm. It's got some groove to it. This snare here is a little bit too bright, so I'm just going to pull out some of the high end on it. And some of the low end. Alright, I got a melody idea in my head. I don't know where it is. That's it. Octave up. Alright. Could work. Let's we'll have a play around, see what we can find. Mellotron. What do we got here? Well, that didn't work. We're a little bit above the Mellotron's octave ranges. Well, that sounds terrible. What do you think, Trav? No good?
Hello, mate. Yeah, sorry, we just dropped out for a second there. But
did we? We're back?
Yeah, we're back.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm digging that high sense, man. It's cool.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I was just saying that the actual sound was fucking shit and I want to change it. Let's see what we got. I love experimenting with things that just may not work. We got a sound there. I'm digging the instrument sound, but I'm not digging the actual tonality of it overall. So we're going to rip out some of the high end. I'm actually going to run the SSL channel on this guy and use that to pull out some of the high end. So what I've done there, sorry, I just did a whole bunch of stuff without really talking. And so I took that bell melody that I had, I doubled it up with a piano sound, put a bunch of delay and reverb on that piano sound as well. And now I've crammed them together so that they make this one kind of acousticy, electric-y sound that blends quite well together. We're going to keep moving on because digging where that is right now. From here, I want to add some kind of hi-hatty stuff. I know we've already got a couple of open hi-hats in this original thing, but I do have this technique that I've been thinking about for a while, and I want to see if it works. I played around with it a little bit, but I want to use it in a live stream situation because that's where the pressure is. And I kind of want it to work. So what I'm going to do is create this like really original sounding rhythmic like percussion part from white noise, and I'm going to show you how you can pretty much get like really original sounding loops, even though they're not really loops, but from just being creative with what plugins that you have. So first thing I'm going to do is get a bunch of white noise, and the way I'm going to do that is create a track. There's an instrument track, and I'm going to put in the instrument, oh damn, I'm going to find it now, utility, test oscillator, and stereo. Wow, that's not annoying at all. So we're going to go to white noise. Still not annoying. That's really fun. And just create a loop here and bounce in place. And what that's going to do is, is just create this white noise here, and I'm just going to delete the rest because all I need is this one section here. So damn, that's a cool instrument. All right, so I'm gonna label that white noise. All right, so we got white noise here. It's pretty annoying sounding. It is not an instrument. It is legitimately just every frequency being played at the same time. I'm going to double that up. So I've got double the amount of white noise. But what I do next is what is going to make this worth playing around with. So I'm going to take one of the white noises. I'm going to mute the other one for now. And I'm going to put on it a step sequencer. And what that is, I will show you quite soon as I find it. Multi-effects. All right, so the one I'm going to be using is in Logic. It's a multi-effects unit. It's called Step Effects, and it's just got a bunch of different... it's got this step sequencer down here. It's got delays, it's got reverb, it's got distortion, it's got a whole bunch of stuff. And what this does is this step sequencer means you can turn on and off the sound, whether it's via a filter or via a gate. And I'll show you... I'm just going to turn everything off, and I'll show you how that works. Keep in mind, I have only just started playing with this recently, so don't be hating. So with this, you can... There's a shaker. So what this is doing is it's taking this envelope and it's just putting it on each one of these steps. You can change the envelope so that it's got like much more percussive sound. Pretty some hi-hats for you.
That's sick.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the start of what this thing can do. But what I'm going to do is go the complex gated presets and find a really cool pattern that's already been built for me. So let's have a look. Come on.
That's cool.
Listen to that.
That's sick, dude.
So this is manipulating a gate. It's manipulating filter cutoffs. It's got reverb going. It's got distortion going. It's got a whole bunch of stuff. Really cool sound. But that's not where we finish. It's still boring to me. So I'm going to do the same thing to the second white noise plugin that we got here. And so I'm just going to do the same thing, add another step sequencer onto that. Where are we? Multi-effects, step effects, there we go. And let's put on a different complex gated. Not a big fan of that one. It's pretty hectic, but we're going to be dealing with that soon. So now what I've got is these two different step sequences playing white noise in different ways and with slightly different effects on them. I'm going to pan one to the left, one to the right, not all the way, but just a little bit. One thing I don't like about the left one just a little bit low, so I'm just going to bump up that cutoff a little bit higher. Cool. Now we've got a quite interesting sounding loop there. What I'm going to do now is put both of these into a group together. Create track stack. I'm going to use a little bit of noise loop is what I'm going to call the track stack. I'm going to use a little bit of distortion here via my good friend Decapitator, just to blend the sounds together a bit more. Turn the output down a bit. And also going to add another, that's right, one more step sequencer, because there's a little bit too hectic, there's a little bit too much going on here. And instead of going the complex ones, this time I'm going to go with a simple gate and find something that's just going to kind of like push this in and out every so often, see what that sounds like. So let's have a look at what we got here. Sounds sick.
That's mad.
So that's
That's real cool. Oh,
Yeah.
we've got someone.
Oh, we've got a question.
It's JJ. He commented the sauce.
Oh, thanks, JJ. I love your input. I hope you dig that sauce, JJ. All right, I'm gonna take this a little bit further. This concept that I've just made here, you don't really need to. You can really do anything with this. I'm just kind of showing that you can push a sound that's like any sound into any way if you're very creative with the plugins that you use. And apart from that distortion I used, these are all free plugins within Logic. So and there's definitely a distortion in Logic that you can use. So you are not lacking plugins if you have Logic or any other DAW that has a bunch of pre-built plugins in it. They are usually good enough to get a really cool sound. So what I'm going to do is just get my pepper shaker sample that I use quite a lot and double that down. Bam, bam. Create a track stack with those. It's going to be called Pepper Sum. And when I go to my when I go to my mix window, I'm going to just copy the exact same plugins that I had on those white noise samples over to the plugins on the pepper shaker, and you'll see here same vibe, different tone. So that's that one. This is the white noise version. So the world is your oyster, guys. Make some cool sounds. I actually prefer the sound of the pepper shaker one.
JJ said he's as good as the Szechuan sauce.
He's as good as the Szechuan sauce. Don't know what that means, but
I think it's a Rick and Morty reference.
Does that mean he's people are looking for him and are willing to murder for some Szechuan sauce?
How deep we can look into that.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and delete the those white noise tracks because I'm going to keep the pepper shaker version. All right, from here, I'm also going to add some hats to it. All right, let's do that. That's in too similar register to that. All right. Now I realize I played that really badly, but because I played in triplets. I'm just gonna have to change these to 16th note triplets. All right, and I'm just gonna copy that first groove that I've got there over to the rest of them because I can't play very well. Oh shit. decent bass. I'm pretty happy with where the percussion and the harmonies and melodies are at, so I just need to get some awesome sounding bass to go along with this. Decay. Why? Why? That's why. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what the best way to get this. All right, I'm going to actually play around with this synth a little bit more. So we're going to find a cool sounding synth in this mini. I mean, that's cool. What's that second chord? What did I play, Travis? What did I play? Do we remember? All right, here we go. It was a B, C, D. What? It was a B flat major. Oh yeah. So fire. Going to quantize the length of all of these so that we don't get any messy parts where the notes overlap each other. That's the one. So I'm going to fix note length these so that they're all exactly 1 bar long. How do you do that? Oh my god. There we go. Sorry, this is my first day. I've got them as 1 beat long. That's right, I'm just going to drag them all out. And just have them finish just before the next note. Ew. Gross. I'm just going to play with this sound a little bit because it's not exactly where I want it to be yet. That low end. It's cool. tell. So I'm going to pick a slightly lower kick drum sound that's sitting around that 50 hertz realm here, whereas this one is a little bit higher. This one's a little bit lower. That's going to be my main kick drum. Oh no, but we can't hear it because it's too drowned out. Let's turn that up a bit. And also I want to add a second kick drum, which is going to provide a little bit more presence to this. So I'm just going to go to my drum pattern, select all the kick drums, and then add this second one here. Not a big fan of that sound because it's a little bit too lively. So what I'm going to do is this kick drum here. It's got a great crack to it, but just a little bit too long. So I'm just going to drop the envelope a little bit so that it just doesn't go for as long. Now it's just really tight. So I'm just going to extend. Just nice tight sound, and that mixed in with the other kick drum sounds a little something like this. This is without it. That's with it. And in the mix. We're getting there. Pretty happy with the overall sound that we got going here. I do feel like I kind of want another bass sound going with this. I'm just going to drag the bass down to a bass guitar as well and see what that sounds like. And I'm just going to drop that down an octave. A little bit more of an analog sound to go with the mini. Okay. It's good too because it has a bit more of a subbier sound to it. It's cool. What I'm going to do on the bass bus now is combine these two sounds together using a little bit of saturation and just a little bit of compression as well. So for that, I'm going to use the virtual mix rack. This thing's great for pretty much everything: EQ, compressor, saturation. Really cool plugin by Slate, and I've used this for many, many years. So they've got a mix bus emulator here. I'm going to take it up to the tube setting. Doesn't add that much, but it's just kind of like blends those sounds together a bit. Next thing I'm going to do is add a bit of compression, and for that I'm going to use this guy, which is an emulation of a SSL channel compressor. And it's going to have it pretty low, just on 1.5. Cool. And finally, I'm just going to add a little bit of EQ. And for that, I'm going to use the, where is it, classic EQ, this guy, custom EQ that comes with the plugin. And I'm just going to bump up the 100 Hertz realm a bit just to get a little bit more subby sound. And roll off a bit of the top end as well. All of the top end. A lot of the high mids, just going to take them out as well. Yeah. All right, we're at a point where we can start arranging this into a song. So let's start by getting rid of everything that I know I'm not going to use. Pretty much all the other synths that and instruments that I got going now, I'm almost certain that they won't make an appearance in the rest of this beat. Might use some 808s later on, so I'll keep that. I'm not going to use tuned snares. And all that stuff is in there. So let's figure out where we're going to start on this beat. So first things first. Let's get the all right. I'm now going to use a pretty cool trick that I do quite a bit to give a bit of a lo-fi vibe when running into like the start of a section, or you can use this for a bridge or whatever. Basically, you can take the whole drum pattern here, bounce it into a section called lo-fi. Use any bit crusher will do. Name brand bit crushers obviously will have a better sound than the no name brand. And you can just, mess around with this until you get something that sounds cool. Sounds fire. I can turn that way down because it's just massively too loud. And I'm also just going to add you thought it is a filter. I'm going to cut off the first half. Cut off the first half of this, so we're just hearing the second half. So it kind of comes in with something. So let's have a listen to how that goes. cut off the very end here. And finally, I'm going to add a bit of a sweep via automation. Just going to take that the low pass filter and just I wish I hadn't had that on loop. Final thing we need before we get into that is a riser. You can use the same stair clap riser that I always use. You've seen me use this before, Trav.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You didn't expect me to talk to you just then, did you?
Nope.
I'm just trying to keep you on your feet.
That's it. I like it.
Yeah. All right, so let's have a listen to that. So it comes out of that lo-fi part and then... I actually really like this beat. It's got a bit of a Post Malone-y, weekendy.
Yeah, I was going to say it reminds me of Post Malone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe this is a Post Malone type beat, mate.
Maybe it is a Post Malone type beat. I haven't done one for a while. And maybe Post Malone should buy it from me.
Maybe he should.
Post Malone. Anyway. All right, I'm going to keep arranging. So after that, I'm going to have one of the basses. And I'm just adding little bits of change throughout here to keep it exciting as we go. It's pretty sparse in this, what I assume will be kind of like a verse section. So halfway through the first 8 bars, I got the tuned hats come in. Then the bells, the piano, just by itself. And the hats again. I'm just going to have the bass by itself with the bell, that piano melody. I don't know if I like that. Definitely don't like that. So I'm going to create a second bass instrument here. Third bass instrument. That's going to be the same sound as the Mini, except it's just going to take out all of that high end that is very prevalent throughout the regular bass sound. And the way I'm going to do that is low pass filter. And where are we at? and that'll kind of act as a pre-chorus before going back into and put our lo-fi drums on the second half of it. Hell yeah. Oh, shit. Can't click today. All right, let's go. These guys are coming in a little bit further on, and so I'm just going to change these up a little bit for this second verse, or what I assume will be the second verse. I'm just going to drop them down an octave. Whoa, we lost our pepper shakers on the choruses here. Damn, the most exciting part of the whole beat. And that's a drop off. Damn, I really like that beat.
It's tasty.
Tasty as fuck. Yeah, that's an arrangement right there. So if you missed any of that, so I've got like this kind of like main chorusy bit, which has all the main like sections all going at the same time. I've got these 2 verse sections here that happen after the chorus. They differ slightly as they go through, but they're both 16 bars each. Then I have this 8-bar pre-chorus section, which is exactly the same both times and kind of like breaks it down just before getting into the chorus section here again. And then at the very end here, I've got it breaking down to the main melody sections and the pepper shakers, and then all the way down to just the melody parts, and that's the end. This beat is sitting at around 4 minutes long, so it can be cut down by any rapper who thinks that it's too long, but yeah, I think it's at a perfect length there. I'm just going to do a little bit of mastering right now. You see this on most of my videos. I just go through, add a little bit of EQ, check the levels of everything one more time, give it a bit of compression, a little bit of limiting, and make it so it's ready for release. So I'm just going to loop this chorus section here, which is the loudest section, and kind of do a little bit of processing, make sure it is exactly where I want it to be. So let's have a look at that. I should probably explain what I'm doing here. So this plugin here that I'm looking at is a frequency analyzer. It's actually an EQ plugin, but it's got a really good frequency analyzer that kind of shows you exactly what's going on across the board. So it's showing you from 0 hertz, I think, all the way up to 20 kilohertz. So the full range of human hearing is here. I can see there's nothing that's really standing out too much, so it's looking quite even. I do want to have a look at this open hi-hat, which is kind of adding a little bit too much high end there, and I'm just going to pull that back a little bit. It is quite a piercing sound, so I'm just going to open up my battery, and that's the one there. Just going to pull that down a little bit. That's cool. And now I'm going to pull up all of the high end a little bit using this Air EQ plugin. I'm not going to go too hectic with it, just I just pulled out a little bit of, where was it, 600-ish, that kind of like boxy it's a little bit higher than the boxy sound, but I just wanted to get rid of some of that and pushed up a little bit of the sound around the 200 where it could use a little bit more of that. I want to say woofy, but it's not like a woofy sound, but like that body down there. So I boosted that a little bit. So a bit of high end, a bit out of the mid, a bit into the low mid, and as always, I pull off about, where does it start? About 30k, it starts rolling off and starts really dropping off around, 30 hertz, stops dropping off around 20 hertz, just to get rid of anything that is kind of below the human hearing range so that it doesn't ruin our mix when we can't even hear it. Next, after the EQ, I've got this compressor here, pretty standard compressor. This is just kind of taming everything a little bit. Doesn't have much reduction here, about 1 dB. 1.5 dB at the most, with a fairly slow attack and a fairly slow release as well. And a high pass filter that's just sitting up around 50 hertz so that the low frequencies don't make it too ballistic. Finally, I've got a clipper, which is this guy up here. And what it does is acts as a limiter, but a little bit different to a limiter in that it doesn't bring down the frequency. It doesn't bring down whatever goes over the threshold. It just cuts it off straight away. It's got a little bit of a different sound to a limiter, but I prefer it. And that's just bringing it up to a level that is taking off the very peaks. As you can see, it's only reducing by about 1 decibel here as well. And that's getting it to a point where we can release it and it's nice and loud. That's not ruining your level there over there, is it?
No.
Cool. That is the mastering section of this beat. Everything is kind of where I want it to be. And I think it's sounding fire. So I'm going to just do a playthrough from the start to finish. If you guys have any questions about the beat or my process or anything to do with Noisy Source, please hit me up right now, I guess, if you're watching this. And if you're not watching this live, then just hit me up on any of my socials. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have about the beat making process. I hope you guys enjoyed all of that. And I'm just going to give this a playthrough right now. What was the name of this beat again? I forgot.
It is called
the things we forget.
Was it Cressen?
Cressen, that's the one.
Cressen, yeah.
Cressen. It's called Cressen. It'll be out in about a month's time. If you can't wait a month, hit me up now and I will sell it to you.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, start to finish. I hope you enjoy this. This is Cressen, a Post Malone type beat, I guess. Here you go. All right, that is it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. And this is Noisy Source. I'll see you all next time. Peace out, everyone.